what exactly is carbon market and how India is evolving in this market?
Countries are not working on reducing the emissions. Global warming is happening, and that is because of man-made steps or man-made industrialization. So, though invisible, it has direct impacts on each our life.
Critics often say that carbon trading is more often a kind of paper trading, right? So when we talk about climate change, one word always pops up, that is carbon markets. Some say that it is future of business, some say it is a tag of the pollution, और कई लोगों को इसके बारे में कुछ भी पता नहीं है. So what exactly is carbon market and how India is evolving in this market? To decode this, we have with us Mr. Jimmy Sahar, founder and director Infinite Solutions, who is not only studying the market but actually building it on the day-to-day basis. And I'm Shalima Maheshwari, today try to decode this with him. Welcome to the show, sir. So, sir, to begin with, I want to know that carbon market, right? मुझे ये एक्सप्लेन करना है मेरे ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स को या मेरे माय स्मॉल किड. मैं इसको सिंपल वे में हाउ कैन आई एक्सप्लेन द कार्बन मार्केट टू देम?
So, when we talk about carbon markets or any market, so sustainability when we are talking about. So, our grandparents were living a much sustainable life. We cannot compare with them. But for children's, for them, it really becomes important. And as a layman, if I start saying, say, if I dump waste in my own backyard, मेरे घर में कोने में रखता हूँ, what would happen? The whole house would sink. Similarly, if everyone in the neighborhood or in the city starts doing that, the entire region would sink. That is how carbon dioxide has been playing a role. Till a level, the environment had the opportunity or the ability to clean itself. But now we have crossed that limit, and now the entire globe is facing the impact. Because of rising CO2, we are facing an impact on global world. So every country, the same my home can be replicated to country. Countries are not working on reducing the emissions, but rather everyone has been increasing their emission because they want to increase their standard of life. And that has led to globally a record level of high CO2, which has been causing global.
So what you're talking about, the impacts are actually invisible in certain ways.
CO2 as such is invisible. It is there. We breathe out CO2, so we can't see it. But the impacts were debated for a very long period of time. Scientists have come up with reports with definite studies saying that yes, global warming is happening, and that is because of man-made steps or man-made industrialization. So, though invisible, it has direct impacts on each our lives. So if you see the environmental disasters this year, say a lot of flooding in Uttarakhand, Punjab, other parts of the country, and in the last 10 years, we have seen unprecedented levels of such environmental disasters happening. All these have a direct relationship with rising temperatures, and these are clearly visible, has a lot of detrimental impact, not just in India. You see any major countries, China, US, Europe, Antarctica for that matter, everyone is facing these environmental disasters. So we have an undenied impact of global warming, though CO2 as such is not visible in our day-to-day life, but the impacts are undeniable.
Got it. My next question to you is, ग्लोबल लेवल पर तो कार्बन मार्केट के बारे में बहुत बात होता है, राइट? बट आई एम सीइंग अ सडन शिफ्ट that everyone is talking about India. India is in focus. Everyone is saying that carbon markets are shaping in India. It is evolving in India. So according to you, what has changed actually?
I would not say it has changed, but if you see the global dynamics, India, China, or such developing countries have become a superpower or are reaching towards being superpower. So similarly, in the climate change domain, India cannot just sit back. So if you see Paris Agreement, globally they have taken a target till 2050 to be carbon neutral. India has committed a 2070 target that we would be neutral by 2070. And to meet those commitments, India has come up with a lot of, I would say, different opportunities where we are not just focused on reducing emission but an overall sustainable growth. And to meet those requirements, we have put in place a lot of policies. One of them is very recent, I would say the CCTS, Carbon Credit Trading Scheme by BEE.
CC?
TS, Carbon Credit Trading Scheme by BEE has come up. And India is trying to put a domestic market where companies would be on similar lines to other developed countries. They have been given a target to reduce emissions. And if they are not able to reduce themselves, they could buy credits from the other projects that have done or received carbon credits. We have Mission Life that was done 2-3 years back. Government of India has also come up with a list of projects that could be done under the Paris Agreement where they can claim carbon credits. So the overall driving force has been our international commitments, and India as a big economy, we are the 4th largest economy now. So if we want to plan for the next 30 years, we have to start making policies in the right direction now. And that is what Government of India has been doing. Our policies have been designed in a way that we are able to achieve the targets well beyond the deadline date.
Okay, so from this I can get that government is also working rigorously in this segment, and even there is a contribution from the big companies and individuals as well, I think, in the direction.
Not directly from the individuals. Individuals still too far to come under any policy ambit. But yeah, industries have now started shaping up. There are so many global, I would say, standards which talk about how an large corporate should tackle the entire ESG related patterns or parameters. And those are in place, which has been working both on, say, regulatory and policy framework as well as on voluntary basis.
Okay. Right now, just you said voluntary and the compliance market, right? Two different universes. So, again, I want to understand what is compliance. Compliance is, I think, something compulsory, and voluntary is something, you do it on your own wish.
Correct.
But how it is in carbon market?
As you mentioned, compliance and voluntary, by the term itself, it explains the term. So, for an example, say if I talk about, say, traffic rules. So they set a speed limit. On this road, you have to be on a limit of, say, 80. So that becomes compliance. You go beyond 80, you would be penalized or you would be fined. So that is how compliance in carbon market works. You are given a limit that you can emit only, say, 100 tons of CO2 for example. You emit beyond that, you would be required to pay a fine. While voluntary is, you have a road, you can go at, say, 40, 50, 100, autobahn in general. So you can decide your own speed.
Yeah, it's something like that. You put, say, seatbelt. It's not compulsion. Nobody is watching.
Yeah. So you decide your own target, your own requirements, that I want to achieve X level of emission and I reach that. No one is asking me to do it. I do it on my moral basis.
Critics often say that carbon trading is more often a kind of paper trading, right? Its impact is not that real, or it is not creating any kind of value. And it's just like, selling fresh air. So what is, how India can avoid this kind of trap?
The concern is very valid because it is something that is invisible, as we have discussed. So when you're trading carbon credits, you actually don't trade any commodity. It is some units in registry, just like shares. So there are a lot of concerns in the market regarding greenwashing, weak monitoring, certain practices not being sustainable. So these concerns are very valid. And to tackle these, there have been, say, whether standards, or we have CCP labels, that is core carbon principles. We have a standard coming up, that is ICVCM, that would monitor how a standard should work. So carbon market, I would say, is still in evolving phase, and these criticisms or these lacunas are there in the market, are inherent in any market, and we have been evolving. So with time, we have been making the registries from, if you see standards like Vera or Gold Standard or CDM, Paris Agreement, everyone has focused a lot on proper monitoring, regular, I would say, reporting, third-party auditing companies to be part of the entire program where responsibilities are allocated. So similarly, even in Indian market, we have a system where a third party would audit projects, regular monitoring would happen. So as for just, and all these policies would have given a provision where we would keep evolving with time, with new technologies coming. Right now, say for any bamboo project or any nature-based agroforestry project, we have to manually go and count trees, check the biomass. But with a lot of remote sensing and GIS technologies available, drone being available.
It's like kind of policing through technology, through wind power.
I would say rather evolving with, say, AI coming in a lot, technology is improving. So we have to be open to technologies, which many of the carbon standards, they call themselves the new generation market or business. So they have been very receptive of these new technologies. So we will see a lot of involvement of these technologies in the coming year. Right now, there has been so much work on digitizing all the methodologies, all the reports, all the projects. A lot of focus has been on digitization. So in the coming years, we should see more of it.
So in your recent response, you said me that you emphasize on evolving, right? Here my question is, like, some people still say that this is an challenge, or while some call it opportunity.
Correct.
What is your take on it?
See, for every challenge, that would bring in a lot of opportunities. So yes, it's a challenge. Say, we have been doing projects in a certain fashion, certain process. And with technology coming in, you have to make changes at the right time to be in sync with the requirements. Otherwise, all these monitoring reports, all these project monitorings would go wrong if our actual implementation takes a, say, technology shift. So we have to be precautious and take certain steps to implement the projects in a way that in whatever case happens, we meet the basic requirements. And we have been working with so many companies now on, say, projects like renewable energy, projects like waste management, nature-based solutions, bamboo plantation, mango plantation, so agriculture projects. So in all these projects, we are helping clients to earn carbon credits, do those rigorous monitoring practices with time and on a year-on-year basis that has to be reported.
So I want to interrupt you here, as I asked you opportunity और challenge वाला thing, but मुझे यहाँ पर ऐसा लगता है एक चीज़ और याद आई, कुछ लोग इसको gold mines भी बोलते हैं कि yes, you can earn huge benefits in terms of the reputation as well and the other kind of leverages.
Well, not what everything comes in the market is true, but yeah, we have an opportunity. There is a source of revenue, but it is not a gold mine for sure. Otherwise, people would stop doing conventional projects and only focus on carbon credits. And that has not been the case. Even the existing projects, because of the market prices, are in a tight situation where prices are not being able to support them. So, it is a revenue source. And when policies like these come, where people have to fight global warming, then the projects that make an impact are really required to be given a push, and financial push or say incentives are the best way to promote such projects.
Okay, so from this take, I want to say to my listeners or my audience that this is something not only profit making thing, but it's something like abhi na hua to fir kabhi nahi.
Yes.
Okay. कई लोग कहते हैं कि carbon markets are for big companies, big brands, big organizations, right? But what about OEMs and MSMEs? What's their part in the whole story?
So, say any country, if you look at the industrial scale, we can't leave MSMEs behind or the small industries behind. Similarly, is the case in carbon market or the sustainability market. Say if a giant corporation, say if I am an automobile manufacturer, I say I want to be carbon neutral, which most of the automobile sectors have said, and they have a law internally to reduce emissions from each automobile. So how would a giant corporation of automobile do that? Because they are mainly assembly units. Their engines are made in a different company. Tires come from a tire company.
That means they have different suppliers for
So many different suppliers, and they are only assembly units. So if this giant corporation says that I want to be carbon neutral, and if it only focuses on its own boundary, then the entire activity would not make any meaning, because the entire emissions are segregated to the different small companies. So now with SBTi coming up, or global reporting standards, they have made it mandate to include their OEMs or small suppliers into the fold. And so there are various standards now. All big industries have to work with their suppliers to bring them into fold. The first step, as any industry would say, is to start reporting. And then they are given targets to reduce their impacts. I'm saying impacts, not just carbon, because impacts could be in terms of its water usage, its air emissions, its waste generation, its carbon emissions as well, its electricity consumption. So they are being given a target to reduce their impacts in totality. And that is how OEMs or small units would not be left behind. They have to be brought into the picture, into the fold of reporting. And most of the, I would say, entrepreneurs or small MSMEs with leadership in focus, they have been working tirelessly to improve or be leaders in their segment. Like Indore is I would not say a tier 1 city. So we are working here with so many different companies who are OEMs or suppliers to a large corporations, and who have taken this initiative on a voluntary basis to start reporting, because they know down the line when the OEMs would start making it mandatory, and then if they start doing or start reporting the entire process, they might lag behind. So to meet that,
I'm sorry to interrupt you in between, but I think यहाँ पर ये होता है कि the reporting is something, the report card of that big companies, which consist of that MSMEs and suppliers,
right?
Green.
Yes,
initiative,
definitely.
right?
Yes. So if, say, a giant corporation or automobile like Tata or Mahindra, they want to be neutral, and their OEMs are not working anything on reducing their emissions, how would they become carbon neutral? Because 90% of the emissions are on these small vendors.
तो अभी समझ आया कि yes, so these big companies were, taking paths to net zero or something like that. For them, their suppliers and every supply chain
Yes.
have to be sustainable.
Yeah. It's a process. So they would start with the major suppliers first, then go to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. But SBTi or any such reporting standards gives you a process on how you would start involving the stakeholders. You can't start doing that on day 1. So day 1 you have to start reporting yourself, start taking targets yourself, and then go to your suppliers to say that, see, I am doing this, that, these are the steps. And now, in order to achieve those targets, you will also have to contribute. So that process has to be followed.
So in relation to this, I want to know now that India, again, we are talking about India. Not only we are talking about, everyone is talking about India today. So success stories in the carbon market already written in India, or be, as you're saying, evolving, to likhna baki hai?
India, I would say in carbon market, we are one of the most prominent players. India, China, Brazil, or Turkey, these are the biggest, say, markets which have been supplying credits globally. So we have been doing projects for the last 10 years. So you name a sector, be it renewable energies, be it waste management projects, be it soil organic carbon, be it bamboo plantation, agroforestry. We have been doing all such projects. You see waste management project of Indore. Indore is a smart city. So waste management projects from Indore have received carbon credits. So India is a success story in terms of carbon market. And that is why you see a lot of push from the government itself to make it or regularize or bring it policies for long term on how country responds to this carbon market.
So, as you said, you are already working in the field from last 10 years. So, what exactly is Infinite Solutions' role in it? As in founder and director of the company, I want to know, as you said, you are working on not many projects. So, how your projects are actually contributing well enough in, in the success of India as well as the, building the car,
So we started as consultants. So we were helping companies from end to end. Say if they have a project, we help them understand the impacts of carbon, monitor it, get the report certified, verified, and also find buyers for them to trade carbon credits. So end-to-end cycle where the project is being operated by the entity, while the carbon part we take care and we help them realize those revenues. And of late, in the last few years, we have also started developing projects, because if you look at, say, conventional projects like renewable energy, waste management, they were units where it was a manufacturing location. It was a centralized unit. You see waste management, you have a proper location where waste is treated and you get either electricity or biogas. So those proper big corporations were there or small units were there, and we were supporting them. But of late, there have been decentralized projects. That means projects with individuals. So it could be cook stove projects, it could be plantation projects where you will give a single tree or a bunch of trees to an individual farmers, and there will be 10,000 farmers. So it is not any big organization now. We are developing projects where we are bringing together, say, thousands of farmers together in a bamboo plantation in Assam. We have done 2 bamboo plantation projects in Assam, each having around 1,000 farmers. We are doing agroforestry projects in central India. We are doing soil organic projects in India. So now we have started acting, we are also investing in projects. So we are becoming project developers where we bring in a lot of stakeholders who are on ground, do a project, mainly plantation, agroforestry projects. And then when we receive the carbon credits, it would be passed on to each individual farmer who has a landholder or who has done projects with us. So that has been our role. A lot of success in the last 10 years. And I would say, yeah, a lot more can be done. The potential is huge and we look forward to it.
Okay. So, my last question to you for today's episode is that, as you said, markets are shaping up.
Yes.
Market is evolving, right? So, how you paint the picture in the long run? I can say, aaj se 5 saal baad, 10 saal baad, where you see that, yes, market is going in this direction and this will be the huge long painted picture of the market.
So in the short term, if say long term, everyone knows or we understand Paris Agreement says 2050 is where we have to be carbon neutral globally. In the short term targets are always intensive. So in say next few years, industries would be brought in the picture. Like we have CCTS in India. So there would be some strict norms would come to enforce all the industries to start participating. So the norms would be strict, but the incentive would be much higher initially because they want to increase participation. And thereon, once these industries have come, and then it would be the market who would shape up what the scenario is, pricing of, say, reductions. But in next few years, we would see a lot of push from international markets as well as domestic India's policies in making these carbon markets inclusive and asking all industries to join.
So, what we have learned today? We have learned that carbon market is not just about trading numbers. It's about trading responsibilities as well. And India is positioned well in the leading position when it comes to their policies, their projects, their people. And I must say thank you, Jimmy, for your valuable insights on the topic. And I must say to listeners that carbon may be invisible, but its value is much. And it's not only about reducing emissions, it's about rethinking the innovation part. Thank you.